Welcome to Included Not Excluded. I'm Tracie Coultas-Pitman, the CEO of BeyondAutism. Today we're talking about something many autistic young people experience but don't always have the words for. That sense of feeling different, of not quite fitting in, or trying to find a place where things feel clearer, calmer, and more predictable. For some, that place is never quite found, and for others it appears somewhere quite unexpected. I'm going to introduce Maddison. For her, that place has been football. She was released from her first club at 15. She moved away from home at 16 and is building a career in the women's game. Her journey is one of resilience, identity and determination. Alongside this, understanding her autism has helped make sense of experiences that once felt confusing or overwhelming. On the pitch, something shifts. The noise quiets. The game makes sense. But sport, like many environments, isn't always designed with autistic people in mind. So today, we're exploring both sides of that story, what it feels like to find belonging and what it takes to create it. So just to formally introduce, Maddison Millington-Stanbury is the goalkeeper at Oxford United Women. Maddison, great to have you on the podcast today. Really nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's, excuse the pun, kick off if it's all right. If you were describing yourself without mentioning football, what would you say?
I would just say very bubbly, very shy, and very tame, not loud, just relaxed and chilled.
When did football first become important to you?
When I was about 6, so yeah, pretty young. My granddad brought me up around football and I kind of always was drawn to it, but I was a gymnast, so I kind of had to focus on that for a little bit. And then I refused to do it anymore. And then, yeah, football drew to me, but I wasn't always a goalkeeper. So I was an outfielder before, but I feel like it was just calling my name.
Amazing. So looking back, were there moments where you felt different but didn't yet know why?
Yeah, for me, it was when I was in school. That was where it really kicked off, especially back in year 6. I failed my SATs, but we didn't know why. And then that was kind of the warning signs for my family. And then going into secondary school, I was failing all of my exams that I had to do, but I was doing really well on a one-to-one basis.
Mm.
I was mainly my PE teacher. She was the one, because I'm really close with her. She was the one that said, look, we need to have a look at this. We may need to look, into something that might be going on, because I had my GCSEs coming up, make sure that they had everything in place to help me with my GCSEs.
Yeah. What did you think? How did that make you feel at the time?
I kind of understood where she was coming from. I always knew I was different, but I didn't really deep it. But I just thought it was just me and that's just who I was. And then she picked up things in my work like spelling, words weren't making sense and things like that. So she just assumed that it was dyslexia. But we went down that route after she spoke to me about it. After that, it was the lady who was diagnosing me with dyslexia who actually said, you may want to get tested for ADHD. And obviously, all in this, I'm talking to my PE teacher, like, I don't know what this is meaning for me, how it's going to affect me in school. But obviously, she kept reassuring me that whatever comes off it, you're going to get the support that you need. And then, yeah, after seeing the consultant for ADHD, she was like, no, it's looking more like autism. So we went down that route.
Wow, you've had quite the journey, haven't you?
Yeah.
um, has it been helpful to go on that journey to understand? Or has it not made much difference? Because like you just said, which is really important, is that you are who you are.
For me, understanding myself can help me interact with other people, and obviously especially with football, because I don't do any education anymore, so I didn't really have the benefits with education on the autistic point of view, so I didn't get the support
Mm.
that I should have got. But with football, that's where it comes differently. It's my job. I need the extra support with that. So having the diagnosis and going through what I went through at such a young age with it, I feel like going through the journey made me who I am today.
Brilliant. Thank you. And what really came out for me there was the importance of having that one person, your PE teacher, just taking the time. Often in our podcasts, what comes through from different autistic people, but also from parents of autistic children, is just that one person who's kind enough to just stop and take the time to understand with you and to do that journey with you. So that person has been so important, I think, in this.
Yeah, if it wasn't for her, I would never have gone down that route. Obviously, my mum knew that there was something not right, but in school, you can actually connect the dots with it. Home, you can't really. I mean, like, I didn't listen to my mum when I was younger, but now we understand why. In school, I didn't listen until it was like on a one-to-one basis. So for my PE teacher to tell me that, the difficult conversation of you need to get tested for this, I'm really grateful for it.
Yeah. I mean, you used the phrase there, knew something wasn't right. And I sincerely hope that you feel like that's not the case, because it's not that it's not right. It is just different. And you come across as such a bubbly, like you say, confident young lady that, please don't take away that something isn't right, because that just isn't the case. So I'm really keen now to find out more about football and football in your life. So what is it about football that felt different from everything else?
I think it was the fact that I could dive around, kick a ball. I think for me, it's very straightforward. There's one outcome out of the end at the end of the day, it's win the game of football. When I became a goalkeeper, it was very much you need to save the ball. Like, obviously, there's ins and outs of it, like, there's techniques with it, but for me, it's very much all you need to do is saw the ball go in the back of the net. I like simple, and also
Mm.
I just like the fact that I can dive around, get muddy. It might sound really weird, but I like that I feel the ball hit me and I get hurt, but then it means that I've done my job, and I really like that.
That's really interesting, because there's also a kind of sensory part of that as well, isn't there? And how do you feel when someone else scores a goal past you, though?
Oh, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Uh, I I get very angry. I think that's one thing with me is I'm a very angry person when it comes to football. If my job's not done, right, I'm very angry and I get very frustrated with myself because I wanna be the best version of myself that I possibly can be. So, I mean, if it's a worldie of a goal, I'll clap to them, like, fair play, I'm never gonna get that. But if it's an
Yeah.
easy goal that I know that I can save, then I will be very angry.
Can I just ask a bit about that and about what strategies you use to help manage that anger or that feeling of, self-disappointment, I guess?
Well, so for me, normally, like, if we're just talking about being in, like, a goalkeeper training session, so normally we do, like, reps. So we'll do, let's say, 4 reps, and if it's on my 2nd rep and I've messed up, I need a minute to just reset, need to breathe, I just need to forget about it because I'm very much I'll take what I've just done and I'll put it into the next rep, and then it will still go really badly. Whereas if
Mm.
I just take a minute, reset, go back with the next one, then I'm fine. If I've just done my 2nd rep, I've just made a mistake and I'm being rushed to get into the next one, I'm then gonna mess up on the next one because I haven't had my time to just reset. With the other goalkeepers, they can just forget about it really quickly. They can just, get on with it. But
Mm.
I need to take that minute to just, think about why I did what I did, where I went wrong, so then I don't do it in the next one.
Just so that I make sure I've understood, reps are repetition, so
Yeah.
repeating a thing, right? Fine. Um, Within that training session then, you've got a clear strategy, and is that fully understood by the rest of the team, by the coaches? Do you share your strategies with them so they know how you're managing the training session?
Yeah, the goalkeeper coaches should be aware of it. Like, I've spoken to them throughout my whole career of football. They all know who I am and, like, how I need to be managed differently. But for me, I've noticed that they'll understand if they want to understand. If they don't want to understand, then that's on them. And I can't control who I am. Like, I can only express to them the things that I'm going to be doing differently. I can't be seen as disruptive or
Hmm.
doesn't wanna learn or, angry or argues back. If you understand me, you'll know that if the things are done correctly, then it's not gonna get to that point. That's what I've learned, like, throughout being with so many different goalkeeper coaches.
Yeah. You've got a real clarity around your strategies, and I guess you're learning those all the time. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think the confidence to be able to share those with your coaches, do you feel that that's grown over time, or have you always been able to just, "This is what I need," and so on?
No, when I was younger, I didn't understand it. I'm still the same me as I was when I was younger, when I was being coached. So I remember I had my first ever goalkeeper coach, and I'm still really close with him today, and he just understood me. And I've never had that connection with a goalkeeper coach ever to the point where he would genuinely ask me if I'm okay, make sure everything's right before we start. So I've got very high expectations when it comes to other goalkeeper coaches, obviously, because I've got him to compare to.
Yeah.
But now being with Oxford, they're the only club that I've openly told,
Right.
and it's come with its ups and downs, but it's all part of the process. It's all, part of the learning of it. I can't expect everybody to understand it, but for me, as long as I've done what I can to express myself to them and so that they can get a better understanding of who I am as a person and as a player, then I know that I've done everything that I can.
From your experience, do you think that there is something more that can be done around awareness with football clubs, for example, or sport in general?
Yeah, 100%. I think there needs to be a lot more awareness. For me
Mm,
personally with football, there needs to be more awareness. I feel like if I could, and I'd love to do something like this, like speak to the FA so that they can start doing talks about it, all those kind of things to make staff actually aware of it. So let's say there's another girl in my position at the same level as me, but she's not as brave to come forward and willingly speak about it to someone. I feel like they should feel in a comfortable place so that they
mm,
can actually come forward and say something. And if any staff member understands it and has had the education on it, they'd be able to see signs or they'd be able to, are you okay? It's the regular
mm.
check-ins that I feel like need more. But yeah, there definitely needs to be more like research into it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because obviously the FA have a full coaching program, don't they, for all their
Yeah.
coaches? It'd be interesting to see what is in there about neurodiversity, around other needs that players might have. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that's developing over time.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
It's going to happen overnight, but I would like to see the start of it, like, happening at some point soon because obviously there's so many more people talking about it. You've got Lucy Bronze, you've got Safi Middleton-Patel, like 2 massive figures in football. So I feel like they should start, "Okay, maybe we should have a look into this."
It's interesting because there is not a footballer, but an Olympian rower called
Mhm.
Cara McMurtry, who has set up an organisation for elite sports people who are neurodiverse because of the journey she went on. And I think she'd be fascinated to have you involved, and also what she's doing to approach the various sporting bodies and so on. You might be really interested to see what they're doing.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Great. So when do you think you really began to understand your autism?
I don't think I have, like, fully understood it yet. I feel like over the break of last year, so last summer, that's when I started to really understand myself because obviously I was going into a new club and I needed to understand myself more. When I got the diagnosis, they gave me like the pack, like the guide, and it talks you through it all. And I
Yeah.
read through that and I was, looking at it and I was thinking, okay, well, that's me. Well, that's me. This is me. That's not me. I was doing all of that,
Yeah.
but I started to really see myself as a new person and more confident in who I am because I was very shy. I didn't really tell anybody because I thought I was gonna get judged. I had family members that have turned around to me and say, "Well, you don't look autistic. How can you be autistic because you're so successful?" And for me, I didn't want that judgment when it went to football. So I had to be very careful with what I was gonna say and how I was gonna say it. Again, I'm still learning about myself. There's always gonna be new challenges that I've got to face that I don't know how I'm gonna react in them, and that I'm willing to do it so I can see for myself like, "Okay, well, I'm good in this situation, but not so good in this situation."
Yeah, and have you got that one person journeying that alongside you now?
Yeah. It's my mum.
Ah, brilliant.
It's just me and my mum, so we're very, very close. So I remember when I was at Arsenal in London, every weekend when I couldn't drive and my mum would come up from Bournemouth to London just to bring me home for one night because I needed to come home for the weekend to reset.
Mm,
Another thing that stands out was so I was at Arsenal and then I went on loan to Watford, and Watford's like a 10-minute drive from my accommodation, but it was my first training session with Watford. I didn't wanna go. I was so scared. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who I was gonna be meeting. I didn't get any details around it, and I made my mum drive up from Bournemouth to drive me 10 minutes down the road, sit in the car, wait for me till I found someone to go and speak to, and then she sat in a Sainsbury's car park for 3 hours
oh, brilliant.
and then came and picked me up, dropped me back to my accommodation. She didn't get home till about 1 o'clock in the morning, and she had work the next day. So if anything, it is 100% my mum that's just with me all the time.
She sounds like an absolute star. That journey then, so Arsenal you were released from, you went to Watford on loan, and was it then from Watford that you went to Oxford, or how's
Yes.
that football journey played out for you?
Yeah, so I stayed at Arsenal for 3 years, and then it was in my 3rd year, I went to Southampton Women.
Ah,
Yeah, so I was there for half of the season, and that was definitely an interesting journey with Southampton Women, and then came back to Arsenal. Then I went to Watford, and I stayed there for the rest of the season. Then I came back to Arsenal, and then I left Arsenal, and now I'm at Oxford.
wow, there's a lot of jumping around and having to work with different teams and different people. I mean, that's quite the challenge, and there's a lot of pressure in football, isn't there? How do you feel when you're being put on loan? I mean, are you part of the discussion around going on loan?
Yeah, so I wanted to go on loan because I wasn't getting game time at Arsenal, so I said, "Look, I
Okay.
need game time, I need to go elsewhere." And then we decided, because I was already at Southampton Women before, and I knew the staff members, I knew most of the players, and I thought, "Right, they're looking for a goalkeeper. I know that they were tier 4 at the time. I know that they're a lower tier, but I'm guaranteed game time,
Mm.
and I need that, especially at, like, 18, I needed the game time." So I said, "I wanna go there." Went there, and then we were losing 10-0, 11-0, 12-0 week in, week out, but I was getting player of the match. So I knew I was still doing my job. But it got
Mm.
to a point where no matter how hard I was doing and no matter how many player of the matches I was getting, it was taking a toll on my mental health because of how many goals I was letting in.
Yeah.
Said that I need to cut it, I needed to come back. So I came back and I still wanted to go out on loan. Watford messaged my manager and said that we're looking for a goalkeeper. Is Maddison still free to come in for a training session? And I was like, yeah, just get me in it. They're a tier 3. It was good exposure at that level. I didn't play at tier 3 with Watford, but the training, playing with like grown women that have played for years and been in different leagues. So it was good. I mean, meeting new players, meeting new people, but it always came with like the daunting side of it as well.
When do you feel most like you belong in football?
In goal. And I can't really say that I belong elsewhere because I could end up anywhere. But I just always know that if things don't go the way I wanna go, I'll always be in the position that I wanna be in, which
Yeah,
is actionable, saving a ball. So, yeah.
brilliant. What do you think something people in football often misunderstand about autism?
Well, I mean, at football, you can kinda say that you don't see a difference. Like,
Mm.
for me, I feel like the outfielders may turn around to me and be like, "Well, you know, you can't really see," things like that. But my players at Oxford, they completely understand me. They know that I won't speak publicly in analysis, like, I will not want to. But
Mm.
it's gotten me to a point now where I'm willingly doing it because I need to be in a comfortable environment, and obviously they've done that. It's more on the goalkeepers that they completely understand me. They see how I react if I drop a ball because one of the goalkeepers says to me, she goes, "Well, you've caught it, the ball hasn't gone in, why are you getting angry?" So it's always those little things that she says, but I'm like, "Well, I need to catch it, I shouldn't be dropping it." But she's like,
Yeah.
"But you've done what you can."
Mm.
So yeah, it's the goalkeepers that understand me the most.
You're in a great team of
Yeah,
ladies there.
100%.
I can hear that you're really happy at Oxford. Is there another ambition or, what are your thoughts on that?
My ambition is always to play at the highest level possible. My goal is to play in the WSL one day. If not the WSL, then the Championship. That's my goal, and obviously I'd love to put on an England shirt again. So that will always be my goal no matter how old I get.
You said put on an England shirt again. When did you put on?
Oh, I played for England under 17s.
Oh, did you? Amazing. You didn't
Yeah.
say that earlier in your
Yeah.
journey.
I know, I'm sorry, I should have said something.
That's amazing. Yeah, and to put on an England shirt. How does it feel to put on the shirt of your country?
For me, it was more special than I feel like for other players because I lost my stepdad when I was 12, 13, and I've been following, his footsteps. I'm now in goal because of him, and I am where I am because I wanna make him proud. And one of the things is his number's 13, and he got it
Mhm.
tattooed on him when he was younger, and now it's my number, so I got it tattooed on me too.
Mm, right.
So 13 is my number, and when
Mm.
I was at England, I was speaking to mum, I was like, "I want to be number 13." So I didn't know until we got into the changing room what number I was gonna be. And then seeing that I was number 13, I just burst into tears in the changing room. And obviously players didn't know what was going on. But yeah, there's nothing that's going to beat that day for me. Always putting on the number 13 shirt, like no matter what club it's at, is always going to hold a special place in my heart.
Wow, Maddison, quite the story. Just to end on, what's one thing that would make a real difference?
For me, I would say regular check-ins, because I'm not very much of I won't say what's wrong with me. If I'm in a really bad mood, I'm not going to say why, or I may not even know why.
Yeah.
I feel like check-ins need to be had. And I feel like actually sitting down one-on-one with the player and asking what things need to be differently. And for me, it's not just having that conversation, it's also actually acting on it. And it's also just taking time to understand that player. Because if I'm not understood, I'm not going to enjoy it there. And you're going to be able to tell by my attitude, because I can't hide if I'm not enjoying it, no matter how much I would like to. So yeah, it's definitely just understand the players that are in your squad.
That's a great piece of advice. So what would you say to a young autistic person who loves football?
Keep playing. Don't stop. Don't let anyone hold you back. Be brave, be open, be confident, and use autism as your superpower. If you enjoy football, use it as your superpower and reach as far as you possibly can. Don't let anyone or anything get in between you and achieving your goals.
I love that. So at Beyond Autism, we often talk about inclusion in education. Inclusion doesn't stop at the classroom door. It extends into every part of life, including sport. And what we've heard today is that belonging isn't about changing who you are. It's about the right environments where you feel safe and able to speak out. It's about the people that you connect with and who connect with you on the journey. And that's where you can succeed as you are. For autistic young people, that can shape confidence, identity, and opportunity. And Maddison, you said that, loud and clear about, if you love football, all the things that you should go for. And often it's not the big changes that matter most. It's understanding, consistency, and the willingness to adapt. Maddison, huge thanks for sharing your story. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, share it with someone who might need it, and join us next month on Included, Not Excluded. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep inclusion at the heart of everything you do.